Ella said. "There has never been a divorce in the Haywood family." "Nope. They're like swans. They mate for life," Marie agreed. Her voice sounded wistful, and Brenna had to admit that nowadays that did sound rare and romantic. Brenna glanced out the window. Jake Haywood wore gray coveralls smeared with grease, tan leather work boots, and a red rag half hanging out of his back pocket. By contrast, Tara wore a Juicy Couture summer sundress that was buttercup yellow and sported a charming bow in the front. Her feet were encased in matching yellow ballet flats, and her long blonde hair was held back by a wide white headband. Jake nuzzled her neck, but when she would have pressed herself against him, he held her back in an obvious attempt to keep her dress free from his grease stains. Tara tossed her hair over her shoulder and giggled up at him, and the young man, who Brenna had thought so serious, well, at least he had been when he fixed the brakes on her Jeep last month, grinned down at the delicate girl before him with his heart in his eyes. Brenna sighed, and then realized that Ella, Marie, and Tenley had sighed at the exact same moment. As they watched, Tara took 3 steps back from Jake and then leapt into his arms, giving him no choice but to catch her. Accepting defeat in the battle to keep her dress unmarred, Jake held her close and kissed her with a thoroughness that left Brenna breathless. She quickly looked away, feeling as if she were intruding on the young couple. She glanced at the others. Judging by the flush on everyone else's cheeks, she knew she wasn't the only one affected. "Ladies," Brenna said. They paid her no mind. "Ella! Marie!" she snapped, forcibly drawing their attention from the young couple. "What?" Ella snapped, her reverie broken. "It's rude to stare," Brenna said. "Rude? I'll tell you what's rude. Jake was a perfectly well-mannered boy until she came around," Marie said with an indignant sniff. She sounded jealous. "She being Tara?" Brenna asked. "What's wrong with Tara?" "She's not from around here," Ella said, as if that were explanation enough. "Neither am I," Brenna reminded them. "That's different, dear," Marie said comfortingly. "Last April, when you solved the mayor's murder, you proved you're one of us. Besides, Tenley Morse is your friend, and her family founded Morse Point." "You can't get a better recommendation than that," Ella concurred. Brenna glanced over her shoulder at Tenley, who was hiding her laughter behind a large book of wedding invitation samples. "Be that as it may," Brenna said, "I don't see what's wrong with a little kissing between engaged persons. In fact, I think it's sweet." As the 3 women glanced back out the window at the young couple, Nate Williams strolled by. His feet faltered when he saw the 3 of them pressed against the glass. His gaze met Brenna's, and the corner of his mouth turned up in a small smile. She had no doubt he was amused to find her wedged between the Porter twins like a slice of olive loaf between 2 pieces of rye. She would have shrugged, but her arms were pinned to her sides. His silver gaze glinted as he made his way toward the door of the shop. The jangle of the string of bells on the door made the twins hop off their perch to check out the new arrival. They fairly lit up at the sight of Nate, who was known to be reclusive and seldom darkened the door of any store other than the grocery. "Hi, Tenley. Ladies," he said, acknowledging Ella and Marie. "I was wondering if I could borrow Brenna for a bit." "Hi, Nate," Tenley answered naturally, as if it weren't at all unusual for Nate to be in her shop. "Go right ahead. Just have her back in time to teach her class." "Will do," he said. "Brenna?" She could feel the Porter sisters' matching inquisitive gazes boring into her back as she slid out of the window and walked toward the door where Nate waited. "Don't tell me my rent is overdue," she joked. "No, but I do have some landlord-tenant business to discuss with you," he said. He looked serious, and Brenna felt a flicker of doubt ignite inside of her. Nate Williams had once been a world-famous artist